Hello, my friends. Good evening, and welcome to Stories for Sleep. Before we begin, I want you to take a deep breath with me. Inhale, slowly, deeply. Feel the air fill your lungs, cool and gentle. Hold it for a moment, and then exhale, releasing any tension, any worries of the day. Let them slip away with the breath. Breathe in again, even slower this time, and exhale. Allow your mind to quiet. With each breath, imagine that your body is becoming lighter, as if you are floating. Picture yourself on the softest cloud, where nothing matters except the present moment. The night is peaceful, and everything is perfectly still. Now, let your eyes gently close if they aren't already. Let the weight of the day leave you, piece by piece, until all that remains is a sense of calm, of safety, and with each breath, feel yourself sinking deeper into the warmth of your bed, as if the sheets are cradling you, holding you in comfort. Imagine your body as a heavy stone, sinking slowly into a bed of soft moss, where the earth below is kind, and the sky above is filled with stars that flicker like distant dreams. Now picture the night around you, an endless sky filled with twinkling stars, the coolness of the evening air, the rustling of leaves in a gentle breeze. Let this image fill your mind. Focus on your breathing, and let each inhale fill you with peace. Let each exhale dissolve any tension. As you continue to breathe, think of a place, a quiet, magical place, where the air is always warm and the moonlight dances on the surface of a shimmering lake. This lake, my friend, is no ordinary lake. Its waters are said to hold ancient secrets. They whisper to those who listen with an open heart. The moment you step near it, you can feel the magic stirring in the air. Can you imagine it? The smooth, still waters, reflecting the stars above? Now, as you continue to drift into that peaceful place in your mind, let me take you to this magical lake. But before we go, let me tell you about something mysterious that lies within its depths, a secret that only the bravest have dared to uncover. Are you ready? Then let the story begin. Once upon a time, under the vast expanse of an enchanted sky, there existed a lake unlike any other. Its waters shimmered in hues of silver and blue, reflecting the night sky so perfectly it was as though the stars themselves had come down to rest upon its surface. But the magic of the lake wasn't just in its beauty. No, there was something far deeper, something that whispered through the trees surrounding it, a secret that only the chosen few could uncover. They said that, in the stillness of the night, the lake's waters could speak, soft, melodic whispers that carried ancient knowledge of lost kingdoms, forgotten dreams, and the eternal dance of love. But no one had ever heard them, not truly. Those who sought its voice were always met with silence, save for the sound of their own breath. One evening, as the twilight faded and the stars began to twinkle in the sky, a young woman named Lyra wandered to the edge of this magical lake. She had heard the stories, of course. Everyone had. The old villagers spoke of the lake's power, of its strange allure, but Lyra had never quite believed them until now. She had traveled far, her heart heavy with uncertainty, hoping that the lake might offer the answers she sought. She stood by the water's edge, feeling the cool breeze that carried the faint scent of wildflowers, and for the first time in a long while, she felt at peace. The weight in her chest, the unease that had plagued her for months, seemed to soften. As she stood there, the whispers began. a soft murmur at first, almost like the rustling of leaves in the wind, but with a rhythm, a cadence that was unmistakable. Lyra closed her eyes, her heart pounding in her chest. Was it the lake? Was it really speaking to her? She stepped forward, barefoot on the soft, cool grass, her breath steady but quick. She had been told that only those with an open heart could hear the lake's secrets, but could she truly trust what she was feeling? As she approached the water, something strange happened. The surface of the lake began to shimmer, as if it were alive, pulsating with a light all its own. Lyra knelt down, her fingers barely grazing the cool surface. The moment they touched the water, a spark of warmth ran through her, and a soft voice whispered in her ear, "Come closer, Lyra. There is much to learn." Her eyes widened in surprise, but her heart didn't race in fear. Instead, it raced with wonder, with anticipation. She leaned closer, almost as if drawn by an invisible force. The water rippled in delicate waves, and from the depths something emerged, a figure, glowing faintly in the moonlight. At first, she couldn't make out what it was, but then she saw it clearly. A man, tall and graceful, with eyes that shimmered like the very stars above. His hair was long and silver, cascading like a waterfall around his shoulders. He smiled at her, and though his lips did not move, his voice echoed softly in her mind. "You've come, Lyra, and now your journey begins." Her heart skipped a beat. She had heard tales of such figures, beings of magic, born of the lake itself, who had the power to change the fate of anyone who encountered them. But this man, this being, was different. He was no mere legend. He was real. And as his gaze met hers, Lyra felt a deep connection, an undeniable pull. Was this the reason she had come here? To meet him. Before she could speak, before she could even form a single thought, the man's voice filled her mind once more. "I am Kaelin, and you, Lyra, are destined for something far greater than you know." And just as quickly as he had appeared, Kaelin began to fade into the water, his form dissolving like mist, leaving only the faint glow behind. Lyra's breath caught in her throat. What did it mean? What was her destiny? The lake was still now, its surface once again a perfect mirror, but the magic lingered in the air. Her heart raced with 1,000 unspoken questions. What was the secret the lake had revealed to her, and what lay beyond the water, waiting to be discovered? Let's take another deep breath together before we continue. Slowly inhale. Feel the calm filling your chest. Hold for a moment, and exhale, letting go of any tension or thoughts that may still be lingering. With each breath, feel yourself sinking deeper into a state of peace. The night is gentle around you, and the soft rustling of the breeze outside the window carries a sense of comfort, as though nature itself is whispering a lullaby. Let your body relax completely. Imagine yourself lying beneath the stars, feeling the cool, refreshing air on your skin, surrounded by quiet and tranquility. The only sound is your breath and the soft whispers of the world around you. As you breathe in and out, allow the weight of the world to fade. Each exhale takes you deeper into relaxation, further away from the busyness of the day. Now picture yourself back at the magical lake. The water is still, glowing faintly under the moonlight, its surface like polished glass. You are standing on the edge, feeling the soft grass beneath your feet, the gentle breeze on your face, the whispers of the lake in your ears. Let the magic of that place fill you, the mystery, the wonder. And as you let go of the world around you, know that the journey with Lyra and Kaylin is just beginning. Lyra's fingers hovered above the water's surface, where the ripples had faded into nothing. The soft glow of the lake's magic was still alive in the air, and yet the moment Kaylin had appeared, so real, so present, had passed. It left her with more questions than answers, a sense of longing that only deepened with each passing second. Her breath was slow, measured, as if her body could still feel the echo of his presence, even though he had vanished. She glanced around the quiet forest, where the trees loomed like silent sentinels in the moonlight. The water before her was now perfectly still, as though nothing had happened. But Lyra knew better. The lake wasn't just water. It was a doorway, a portal to something far greater than anything she had ever known. The whispers she had heard before were not mere sounds. They were messages, promises, secrets from the very heart of the earth. She took another step closer to the edge, her breath steady as she leaned down to touch the water once more. The moment her fingers brushed the cool surface, a tremor of warmth rushed through her. The voice returned, but this time it was different, softer, more familiar, like the voice of an old friend. "Do not fear, Lyra. You are not alone." Her heart fluttered at the sound of it. She straightened, glancing around, but there was no sign of the man, Kaylin. The lake was quiet, but she could feel something stirring beneath its surface, something powerful, something ancient. "Come closer, Lyra. The answers you seek lie beneath the water." Lyra's pulse quickened. Was she truly ready for what the lake might reveal? But the gentle voice, the warmth that seemed to fill her, urged her forward. With a deep breath, Lyra stepped into the water, feeling the coolness rise around her ankles. The lake was deeper than it looked, its waters endless, stretching far beyond what her eyes could see. The ripples of her movement spread out in delicate circles, and for a moment she felt the world outside the lake disappear entirely. With each step, the water seemed to grow warmer, as if it were alive. It lapped softly against her skin, like a comforting embrace, pulling her further in. The forest around her began to fade, replaced by a soft, ethereal glow. And then, from the depths, the figure of Kaylin appeared again. This time, he did not rise from the water. He was already there, waiting for her beneath the surface. His silver eyes sparkled in the moonlight, his long hair flowing like a cascade of water, blending with the lake's shimmering surface. Lyra felt a strange, almost magnetic pull toward him, and before she could stop herself, she stepped forward, her feet no longer touching the ground. The water rose up around her, cradling her in its depths until she was floating, weightless. Kaylin extended his hand toward her, his voice filling her mind once again. "You've come, and now the lake will show you what you need to see. But you must promise me one thing, Lyra." Her heart was racing, but she reached for his hand, feeling an electric warmth as their fingers touched. "What must I promise?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper, as though the water itself might steal her words. "You must promise that you will not turn away from what you see, no matter how it may frighten you. You must trust the water and trust me." Lyra nodded, her gaze never leaving his, the world around them growing more surreal with each passing moment. The surface of the lake began to shimmer and shift as though it were alive, swirling in a hypnotic dance. The waters parted, revealing a scene unlike anything Lyra had ever imagined. She saw visions, flashes of distant lands, of towering castles that seemed to float on clouds, of fields of flowers bathed in golden sunlight. She saw people too, strange and beautiful beings, their faces filled with a deep, ancient wisdom. But in the center of it all, she saw a vision that made her breath catch in her throat. It was a woman, her own face, though younger, more carefree, her eyes bright with hope. The woman stood in a forest, holding a small glowing stone, her hands trembling as though she were about to make a choice that would change everything. The vision shifted, and Lyra saw a dark shadow creep over the land, twisting and turning like a serpent. The woman, she, held the stone tightly in her hands, her expression determined. "This is you," Kalen's voice whispered in her mind. "You are the one who will bring balance. The choice is yours, Lyra. The fate of the lake and the world lies within your hands." Lyra's heart raced. The weight of the vision pressed down on her, and yet, deep within, she felt the strange warmth of the lake's magic swirling around her, urging her on. The lake was asking her to make a choice, to trust herself. But the questions were endless. How could she possibly understand all that she had just seen? What was this power inside her? And why had she been chosen for such a momentous task? Let's begin with a slow, deep breath together. Inhale, feeling the air fill your chest with peace. Hold it for just a moment. And now, exhale softly, letting the weight of your thoughts drift away like leaves on a calm breeze. Breathe in again, even slower this time. Fill your lungs with the cool, soothing air, and then exhale, feeling all the tension release from your body, as if each breath is pulling you deeper into calm. With each gentle breath, feel your body sink further into relaxation, deeper into stillness. The world around you is quiet, and the only sound is the rhythm of your breath, steady and calm. Now, imagine yourself once again at the edge of the magical lake, the cool water lapping at your feet, the stars above shimmering like ancient diamonds. The air is filled with the faint scent of wildflowers, and the soft murmur of the lake's whispers seem to caress your skin like a soft lullaby. You are safe here, calm. The magic of the lake wraps around you like a blanket, its gentle presence filling you with peace. Let it wash over you, knowing that you are exactly where you need to be. In the quiet of the night, with the moon glowing overhead, your heart is open. You feel the connection to the lake, to its secrets, to the whispers of fate. And as you continue to breathe, let your mind drift with the story of Lyra and Kalen, where the path ahead is uncertain, but filled with magic and wonder. Lyra floated in the lake's warm embrace, her heart racing with the weight of what she had just witnessed. The vision, the woman who looked so much like her, holding the glowing stone, standing on the brink of a choice that would change everything. It was all too much to comprehend, and yet there it was, as real as the water beneath her, the sky above her, the magic that pulsed through her veins. She turned to Kalen, his silver eyes watching her with an intensity that both comforted and unsettled her. His form was still glowing faintly, his long hair shimmering like silver threads of light. He stood beside her, close, yet always just out of reach, as though the magic of the lake held him in its depths, keeping him both present and distant. The silence between them stretched for a moment, a heavy, unspoken understanding hanging in the air. Lyra's pulse quickened as she realized that this was the moment. This was the point where everything changed. "What does it mean?" Lyra asked, her voice trembling slightly, though she was not afraid. There was a calm in her now, a quiet knowing that this was where she was meant to be. But still, the weight of the vision pressed down on her. The choice, the stone, the shadow. What did it all mean? Kalen's gaze softened, and he reached out, his hand brushing hers. The warmth of his touch sent a gentle shiver through her, and for a moment it was as though the water itself paused, holding its breath. "The choice is not simple, Lyra. It never is. You have seen the path ahead, but you have only seen a fragment of it. The road you must walk will be filled with trials, with dangers, and with moments of uncertainty." Lyra looked at him, her chest tight with emotion. She could feel the pull of something deep within the lake, something ancient and powerful, urging her forward. "But I don't understand," she whispered, the words slipping from her lips before she could stop them. "Why me? Why was I chosen?" Kalen studied her for a moment, his gaze unwavering. "You are more than you think, Lyra. You carry a power within you, a gift that has been passed down through generations. The lake has chosen you because you are the one who can restore balance, but the choice is yours. No one else can make it for you." Lyra closed her eyes for a moment, trying to steady her racing heart. She had always known there was something different about her, something just beneath the surface, but she had never imagined it could be this. To carry such a burden, such a destiny, it was overwhelming. She opened her eyes again, meeting Kalen's gaze. There was something in the depth of his eyes, something that told her he was speaking from experience. He had walked this path before. "But what happens if I don't choose?" she asked, her voice barely a whisper, as though afraid the answer might shatter the fragile peace she had found in the water. Kalen's expression softened even more, and he stepped closer, his voice like the sound of the wind through the trees. "The lake's magic will fade, the balance will tip, and all that you've seen will become nothing more than a distant memory." Lyra's heart sank. She couldn't let that happen. The vision, the woman holding the glowing stone, had been her. She had felt it, she had seen it, and yet the weight of that knowledge was almost too much to bear. But Kalen was right. This was her choice, and whatever lay ahead, she couldn't turn away from it. She couldn't ignore the call of the lake, the pull of the magic that swirled beneath the surface. With a deep breath, Lyra lifted her chin and looked at Kalen. "I will choose," she said, her voice steady now, as though the decision had already been made deep within her heart. Kalen nodded, a slow, approving smile curving his lips. "Then let the lake show you the way." The water around them began to glow brighter, the light from below reflecting the stars above. It was as if the entire world was holding its breath, waiting for Lyra's decision, waiting for the moment when she would step forward into her destiny. The surface of the water rippled once more, and from the depths a soft glow began to rise. A stone, glowing with a soft, ethereal light, surfaced before her. Lyra reached out slowly, her hand trembling as her fingers brushed the smooth, cool surface of the stone, and as her fingers wrapped around it, she felt the magic of the lake surge through her, filling her with warmth, with power, with a sense of purpose that she had never known before. The stone pulsed in her hand as though alive, as though it recognized her. For the first time since she had arrived at the lake, Lyra felt certain. The choice had been made. She was no longer just a traveler on a journey. She was part of something greater, something ancient, something that had been waiting for her all along. Let's take a slow, deep breath together as we prepare to continue the journey. Inhale, drawing the calm into your lungs, filling your chest with peace. Hold it for just a moment, and exhale, slowly releasing any lingering thoughts or worries. Feel how your body becomes heavier with each breath, sinking further into the warmth of your bed, into the stillness of the night. Let go of everything except for the soft rhythm of your breathing. Breathe in again, slowly, deeply, and as you breathe out, imagine that every part of you is becoming lighter, more relaxed, more at ease. The night around you is quiet, peaceful. The stars are shining, and the moon is a soft glow in the sky. You are safe, you are calm, and the story of Lyra and Kaelin continues. Lyra held the glowing stone tightly in her hand, her fingers trembling as it pulsed with an energy unlike anything she had ever felt. The warmth of the stone was comforting, but beneath that warmth there was an undercurrent, something deeper, something ancient. The stone felt alive, as though it had been waiting for her touch, waiting for this very moment. She glanced at Kaelin, his gaze steady as he watched her, his silver eyes reflecting the light of the stone. His expression was unreadable, but she could sense the weight of what was happening. The lake itself seemed to hold its breath, as if it, too, was waiting for Lyra's next move. "It's time," Kaelin said, his voice soft, but carrying the weight of 1,000 unspoken words. Lyra nodded, her heart racing. She didn't know what was coming next, but she could feel the power of the lake stirring within her, calling her to something greater. She closed her eyes for a moment, letting the stone's energy fill her, letting it guide her, and as she did, the lake began to shift around her. The water deepened, growing darker, as if the very heart of the lake was waking. A low hum filled the air, growing louder until it seemed as though the world itself was vibrating. "What's happening?" Lyra whispered, her voice a tremor of uncertainty. Kaelin stepped closer, his presence a steady anchor in the storm that was beginning to swirl around them. "The magic within you is awakening," he said softly. "But there is something you must understand, Lyra. The lake is not just a place of power, it is a place of balance. For every light, there is a shadow, and for every choice, there is a consequence." Lyra's heart skipped a beat as she looked at him. She hadn't fully understood the weight of his words before, but now, standing here, holding the stone, she felt it. The balance he spoke of, the pull of something darker beneath the surface. The water around her began to swirl, faster now, as though the lake itself was responding to the stone in her hand. The moon above them flickered for a brief moment, casting shadows over the water. "You must be ready," Kaelin said, his voice barely audible over the growing hum of energy. "The storm within the lake is stirring. The shadow has awoken, and it will seek to take what you now hold. Lyra's breath caught in her throat as the water around her seemed to come alive, rising higher, faster, like a vortex spinning in the very heart of the lake. The stone in her hand glowed brighter, pulsing with a rhythm that matched her racing heart. "What do I do?" she asked, panic rising in her chest. She could feel the lake's power now, wild and untamed, like a force of nature that was beyond her control. Kaelin reached for her, his hand wrapping around hers, steady and firm. "Trust yourself," he said, his voice calm, despite the chaos that swirled around them. "The power is inside you. You must hold your ground, Lyra. Let the storm pass, but don't let it take you with it." For a moment, everything seemed to stop. The water hung suspended in the air, the vortex paused, the hum faded into a deafening silence. Lyra's eyes widened in fear, but she squeezed the stone in her hand, feeling its warmth pulse through her. Then, without warning, the storm erupted. The water surged, rising higher and higher, crashing all around them. The wind howled, tearing through the trees, sending leaves swirling into the air. The sky above darkened, as though the heavens themselves were opening up in response to the magic Lyra now carried. Lyra felt herself being pulled, not by the storm, but by something deeper. The stone in her hand seemed to be calling her, urging her forward. She took a step, then another, her feet sinking into the water as the currents tugged at her, trying to pull her under. But she didn't let go. She couldn't. The lake was alive with magic, alive with power, and she was a part of it now. She had made her choice, and no matter how fierce the storm became, she would not be swept away. Kaelin's voice cut through the chaos, steady and strong. "Focus, Lyra. Trust the stone. Trust the magic within you. Let it guide you." She closed her eyes, taking a deep breath, grounding herself in the rhythm of the stone's pulse, in the power that flowed through her. The water raged around her, but she remained still, holding onto the stone with everything she had. The storm surged once more, and the water rose around her, but this time Lyra didn't flinch. She raised the stone high above her head, and as she did, the glow from within it intensified, spreading out like a wave of light, pushing back the darkness that threatened to overtake them. The lake, once wild and untamed, began to calm. The water slowed, the wind softened, and the storm began to recede, as if it were bowing to the power Lyra now held. But it wasn't over. From the depths of the lake, a shadow emerged, dark and twisting, like smoke given form. It moved toward her with a slow, deliberate pace, its shape shifting, ever changing. Lyra felt a chill run through her as the shadow reached for her, its presence cold, like the deepest depths of the ocean. "This is the shadow," Kaelin whispered, his voice filled with warning. "It seeks the stone. It seeks to consume the light within it." Lyra's heart pounded, but she didn't retreat. The power of the lake was within her now, and she knew, deep in her soul, that she could face whatever came next. With a steady breath, she raised the stone higher, her voice strong and clear. "I won't let you take it. I am the light." The shadow recoiled, as if the light from the stone burned it, but it did not retreat. It circled her, a dark force, ever watching, ever waiting. Let's take a moment before we continue. Close your eyes and breathe deeply. in and out, feeling the peace surround you. Inhale slowly, filling your lungs with calm and stillness. Hold for just a moment, and then exhale, letting go of any lingering tension. With each gentle breath, let your body relax deeper, the weight of the world lifting off your shoulders. Feel how your body softens, how your heart quiets, and how your mind, too, begins to settle into a peaceful rhythm. As the last whispers of the storm fade into the distance, know that you are safe, that you are calm, and that your journey into the heart of the story is about to unfold. Trust the flow of the tale and allow the magic of the lake to carry you gently toward the final moments of Lyra and Kalen's adventure. The shadow loomed before Lyra, dark and twisting like smoke, its shape ever changing. It hovered just beyond the reach of the glowing stone she held, its presence cold and suffocating, as though it sought to swallow the light whole. The air around them was thick with tension, the once calm waters of the lake now swirling with an unsettling energy. Lyra's heart pounded in her chest, but she did not flinch. She knew what she had to do. The power of the stone was not just in its light. It was within her, coursing through her veins like the heartbeat of the lake itself. It was a part of her now, as much a part of her as the very air she breathed. She held the stone higher, feeling its warmth grow, the glow intensifying, pushing back the darkness that surrounded her. The shadow recoiled at the light, but it did not disappear. Instead, it circled her, watching, waiting, like a predator drawn to its prey. Kalen stood beside her, his silver eyes glowing faintly in the dim light, his expression calm but alert. "You are stronger than you know," he said softly, his voice carrying the weight of 1,000 unspoken truths. "Trust yourself, Lyra. The shadow cannot touch you if you stand firm. It seeks fear, it seeks doubt, but if you hold fast to the light, it will fade." Lyra's grip tightened around the stone, the warmth of it spreading through her fingertips, filling her with a sense of purpose. She wasn't afraid, not anymore. She had made her choice. The light she carried was not just the light of the stone, it was the light of her heart, of everything she had learned along her journey, the love, the strength, the hope that had guided her here. She looked at Kalen, and in that moment she saw the same strength in his eyes, the same quiet determination. He had always been there for her, guiding her, protecting her, and now it was her turn to stand by him, to face the darkness together. "I won't let it take me," Lyra said, her voice steady and calm, the words carrying the weight of a vow. Kalen nodded, his gaze unwavering. "Number, you are not alone, Lyra. The lake, the magic, it is all with you." With a final breath, Lyra focused on the stone. She let go of the fear, of the doubt, and allowed herself to be filled with the light, the warmth that surged through her, the power that surged through the stone, through the lake, through everything. It was a force greater than the shadow, greater than anything she had ever known. As she raised the stone higher, the shadow recoiled once again, but this time it did not return. Instead, it faded, retreating back into the depths of the lake, swallowed by the light that Lyra had summoned. The waters began to calm once more, the wind slowing, the tension that had gripped the night beginning to dissolve. Lyra stood still, her breath steady now, her heart calm. calm. The storm had passed. The shadow was gone. She looked down at the stone in her hand, its glow softening. No longer the blinding light it had been, but a gentle, steady warmth that pulsed in time with her heartbeat. She could feel the power of the lake within her, but it no longer felt overwhelming. It was a part of her now, balanced, peaceful. "You did it," Kalen whispered, his voice filled with awe. Lyra turned to him, her eyes meeting his, and for a moment, all the world seemed to disappear. There was only him and her, and the stillness that had settled over the lake. "We did it," she said, a soft smile playing on her lips. Kalen stepped closer, his eyes soft with emotion. Without a word, he took her hand, his touch gentle but firm, grounding her in the moment. He reached up, brushing a strand of hair from her face, his gaze never leaving hers. "The lake has chosen you," he murmured, his voice low and intimate. "But in the end, it is you who has chosen the path, and now the magic is yours to guide." Lyra looked down at the stone once more, and for the first time she truly understood. The magic of the lake was not just about power or light. It was about balance. It was about the harmony between shadow and light, between fear and courage, between what was and what could be. And it was hers to protect. The night around them seemed to hold its breath, the stars twinkling like quiet witnesses to the moment. The lake, once wild and unpredictable, was now calm, its surface smooth as glass, reflecting the light of the moon. Lyra turned back to Kalen, her heart full, her soul at peace. There was so much yet to discover, so much more to learn, but for now she was content. She had found her purpose, and with Kalen by her side, she knew she was ready for whatever came next. Without a word, Kalen leaned forward, his lips brushing hers in a soft, lingering kiss. It was a kiss filled with everything they had shared, the trials, the dangers, the magic, and the love that had blossomed between them amidst it all. When they pulled apart, Lyra felt lighter, as though the kiss had sealed the bond between them, the promise of the journey still to come. The stone in her hand glowed softly, a reminder of the path ahead. But Lyra knew one thing with certainty. No matter what came next, she would face it with strength, with love, and with the magic of the lake at her side. And so, dear friends, Lyra's journey is complete, for now. The lake's magic is hers to guide. The shadow has been defeated, and the love that blossomed between her and Kalen will carry them through whatever challenges the future holds. As you drift into sleep, know that the magic of the lake still flows, gentle and peaceful, just as the world around you is now calm. Rest easy, knowing that in the quiet, you too are safe, protected by the magic that lives within us all. Good night, my friends. Sleep well, and dream of the stars, of magic, and of love.